Hi there, traders. This is Brad Gilbert with the Daily Market Insight for Wednesday, the 30th of March. All right, we're starting to see some progress here, apparently, with the Ukraine peace talks. That's a massive, it's like the start of the whole event. That's the first time we've heard of it. So you get this massive knee-jerk reaction, right? So I don't think it's a done deal by any stretch. But what we do know is it's broken through resistance. Okay, the price action there, technically very good. Goes all the way up here above 111, up to 111.36 or thereabouts. Takes out all the stops, a bit of a correction to the overall move, right? And then we sort of see how things fare from there. So one thing to understand is just looking at where euro is, right? And of course, you're going to get a sort of down move here in the dollar index. But let me, have I got that in the dailies? I'll come back to the dollar index in a second. So the, what I was going to say is, like, I was just getting asked a question like, okay, so if the whole Russia-Ukraine situation gets resolved, what happens? Well, this is where it was beforehand up here. So it really should come back to 112.50, 113, right? At the moment, we've seen the initial shock news, which is once again, peace talks. Don't forget the key word here is hopes, very hopeful. That's not very solid in my view. So we've got the stops triggered here. Euro corrects. But if it is true and it does get a full resolution, once again, I don't think it will, it goes up to 112.50, 113, right? That's where euro will go. If these peace talks are rubbish, right, we've just had the excuse of a massive stop loss run and euro will go back down here to 109, sort of 80, right? So at the moment, to me, we're in the transition zone. Is it going to go up to here? I don't think so, because I don't think these peace talks usually work out first time round. I think we'll slowly dribble back down here towards 109.80. All it will take is one missile to sort of correct that current move. But what you can't do is discount what has happened and the impact that's had. Obviously, the dollar index, 58% of the basket is euro. So whatever happens on euro is equal and opposite usually on the dollar index. The whole thing around this, I keep saying it, the VIX, the volatility index is drifting lower and lower. It's like the event is over, the market doesn't care, and that's where we are. One of the fun, or not the fun moves, one of the probably harsh moves for a lot of traders out there was oil, right? So with that news, with the Russia-Ukraine situation hopefully getting resolved, you see oil drop from sort of 108 down to the support line at 98, right? That's a pretty solid move in 2 hours. And then it bounces back to 106. So to me, is it resolved or not? I did see some news that there was in Kazakhstan, there was another pipeline. They had to reduce their oil supplies. I can't imagine, it was only by a fifth. So I can't imagine that's the whole move. But to me, peaceful trade talks, if it was positive, you get the move in euro. Oil should have kept on going. Now, one key thing that I've also been looking at very closely is the commodity index. It is still falling, right? The overall, that's the key theme. Bitcoin is now sort of just trading sideways, up around 47,000. And once again, the equity markets, they love a little bit of fanfare. They are continuing to sort of rally at the moment. They will have their big correction once the Fed starts raising rates. But at the moment, they're like, yeah, nothing to see here. That situation's been resolved. All right. So that's, to me, unfinished business for the equity markets. Commodities still coming off. Euro corrects on the Ukraine-Russia situation. So we know exactly what to watch for now. It's more news on that. If you're looking at the currencies, you can obviously be having a close look at euro. As I said, it's either going to go back down to here or up to 113. If there's no fresh news, it probably just drags out sideways. Sterling still doesn't know what's going on. And Aussie's holding up here despite me actually, despite the commodities coming off aggressively. Dollar CAD's getting whipped around all over the place. Dollar yen is the next big currency, I think, that has to be on your radar. And this means the yen crosses as well. Once again, if I just blow this up, right before this whole Russian-Ukraine situation, it was minding its own business down here around 115, 115.50. It's gone up 10 cents on this whole issue. So really, if everything's resolved, fair value is back at 115, right? So that's where it should go. And it won't go in one day. It'll take the same amount of time, probably 2 or 3 weeks, and that's where we end up. So I'd be looking to potentially for dollar yen opportunities. If not dollar yen, I'll be looking for yen cross opportunities. I mentioned this yesterday. We have seen that sort of fickle breakdown, but that correction in oil is the sign that this isn't done yet, right? So, and we've seen the yen crosses pretty much mirror that movement in oil, like a knee-jerk reaction down and a little move back up. Euro yen's the one that I'll be watching, because if these things do blow up, it could be the one that hasn't moved yet, right? So we'll see how that goes. Outside of that, I don't think there's much else to be looking at. The commodities, as I've been focusing on this, once again, these are all following. So here's light crude and so Brent crude. See that knee-jerk reaction down and then sort of back up. To me, that's why the hopes of peace talks stinks, because it's not reflected in the main instrument that's been impacted. Silver did the same move. Gold did the same move. Iron ore steady, and copper, well, it's just sort of slowly cruising to the top side. So keep an eye on this. The fact that we are seeing this sort of price action on oil on an event that should resolve a lot of the issues around the price of oil doesn't make sense to me. That's why I think the whole situation is a bit of a blow up, bit of a hype up, get the market ready for something, but take advantage of some of these opportunities. All right, guys, that's pretty much where we are. Keep an eye on the markets at the moment. There's no risk on profile at the moment. US equities slightly off. Is that reflected in the currencies? It's not. So don't think there's a clear risk on, risk off profile. It's not at the moment. If anything, maybe a little bit of unwinding of some dollar positions. It has been a bit of a safe haven through this whole process. Outside of that, definitely keep an eye on the commodities. There's plenty of action here. That commodity index is still up almost 20% for the year. You'd expect that to roll over if this issue is resolved. All right, guys, and don't forget, as far as the data goes too, I keep forgetting to mention this. We've got a bunch of data releases coming out of Europe at the moment, and a few out of the UK tomorrow. Really, the main game will be the US non-farm payrolls on Friday. So it's not quite the new month yet, but we're getting closer. All right, guys, have a good one. All the best. Cheerio.